for us. Thanks for watching, and keep it here now for Dateline 29 News at 6.
A father is charged with the murder of his son in their Orange County home.
The Pilot Corporation makes a new move to build a truck plaza in Augusta County.
And K-9 units in Central Virginia now have more protection. The news starts now.
This is Dateline 29 News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stacy Horst.
And I'm Kevin Henry. Dave Cupp has the night off. Our top story, an Orange County man who's accused of murdering his 17-year-old son will remain in jail.
Alvin Washington Sr. made his first court appearance today. Kristen Jackson is following this story, and she's live now in our Charlottesville newsroom with the latest. Kristen, tell us what happened.
Stacey, an Orange County judge denied bond for Alvin Washington Sr. at today's hearing. The 44-year-old man is accused of killing his own teenage son after an argument in their home last night. This was the scene of the murder. Orange County Sheriff C.G. Feldman told me they received a call around 5 that there had been a shooting. When sheriff deputies arrived at the house, they found the victim, 17-year-old Alvin Washington Jr., dying from multiple gunshot wounds. Washington was pronounced dead even before rescue crews arrived. Feldman also says they found their main suspect, his father, Alvin Washington Sr., still on the scene. Washington is charged with the murder of his son, use of a firearm to commit a felony, and possession of a firearm after being convicted of a felony. Now, officials say since Alvin Washington Sr. did not have an attorney present at today's hearing, the court has appointed him one, so Washington could try to make bond again. He's being held at the Central Virginia Regional Jail until that time.
All right, Kristen Jackson in our Charlottesville newsroom tonight. Thank you.
The Pilot Corporation has withdrawn its request for a special use permit to build a travel plaza in Augusta County. Ken Slack is live at the proposed development site in Greenville. Ken, this move is just a delay, right?
It is, Kevin. A spokesman says Pilot will refile that request with Augusta County officials later this month after they get a chance to sit down and talk with VDOT about some serious traffic concerns.
Every morning and every afternoon, dozens of school buses travel routes 11 and 340, serving Riverhead's elementary and high schools. State highway officials estimate that if Pilot's permit is granted, these buses will be joined by thousands more vehicles, about a third of them heavy trucks.
Presently, we have about 5,600 vehicles a day at this intersection, and about 2% of that is comprised of truck traffic. This number can potentially double, and of course, the doubling, a lot of that will be the extra truck traffic going through that intersection.
VDOT says this newly improved intersection was never designed to handle a large volume of tractor trailers. The Highway Department says a truck plaza could create traffic headaches here, as well as at the proposed southern entrance to the property and on nearby off-ramps for Interstate 81. Pilot and VDOT reps will discuss ways to resolve those traffic concerns.
Pilot hasn't said they're going to go away. They've simply said we're going to come back in 30 days and we're going to have an answer to these things. So we don't think they can answer those things in 30 days, and we certainly think that this shows very strongly that this is the wrong development in the wrong place.
A Pilot spokesman says the company is still committed to creating, quote, first-class facilities that will benefit the county and Greenville.
Now, that VDOT report says this new intersection is not designed to handle a large number of heavy trucks. The pavement is not thick enough, and the travel lanes are not wide enough to handle that wide turning radius of a big rig. Kevin?
All right, Ken Slack in the Valley. Thank you, Ken. Residents of southern Albemarle County received a big gift today, and as Amanda Martin explains, it's something both the young and young at heart will soon be able to enjoy.
The Brooks live in Esmont, but they have to travel to Charlottesville or Scottsville to enjoy playgrounds or a baseball field. But that's all about to change.
It's going to be a lot easier for us, just to come down to our school and playground over here instead of miles away.
An anonymous donor and the Dave Matthews Band gave Albemarle County $500,000 to build a park right across the street from Yancey Elementary School.
Our donors were aware of the need, aware that the people in the Esmont, or generally in the southern Albemarle County area, lacked recreational facilities, and this was a case where they wanted to marry public and private monies to make this happen now.
What it means to us is we get to do something that probably would have taken us close to 7 years to complete because of the way what county funding was available.
But with the $500,000 donation, they're going to build basketball courts, tennis courts, baseball fields, playgrounds, and much more on 13 acres of land in just 1 year. The county already has plans drawn, but some residents still have a few suggestions.
I do hope they have bigger slides and swings.
And a swimming pool.
Yeah, the swimming pool. Yes.
In Albemarle County, Amanda Martin, Dateline 29 News.
Now, Albemarle County hopes to start construction on the project in the fall. The county also plans to hold a meeting to find out how other residents feel about the project.
Today, some of Central Virginia's busiest police workers got a gift that could mean the difference between life and death. Amanda Hall tells us why one citizen contributed hundreds of dollars to Charlottesville and Albemarle police.
We'll have somebody with a weapon. A lot of times we'll use the dog as a substitute for a human.
The dog is sent in, and basically the dog searched the building on his own. So he's going to encounter whatever's in there first.
Often the first officer in is a dog. Now Ingo, Doc, and Aries will have the same protection as well as the same risks as their human counterparts. That's thanks to these gifts from a generous citizen named Danielle Devereaux.
It actually covers a majority of their body where obviously there's no 100% protection, but it is that little bit that can mean the difference between maybe a minor injury or maybe a life-threatening injury for the dog.
The vests are good protection and a good investment.
The vest costs, $400 to $500, and they're protecting something that's worth $5,000 or more. When I send him into a situation where the potential for danger is high, that he's got that much more protection.
In Charlottesville, Amanda Hall, Dateline 29 News.
Intentionally transmitting the HIV virus through sexual contact may soon be a felony in Virginia. Lawmakers in the House of Delegates have given their approval to such a measure. Now, some who oppose the bill say it discriminates against those who have the disease.
Stopping here. Why are we discriminating against these people? Where is the hue and cry about these folks running around transmitting these diseases in a serial manner like this?
If you engage in sexual contact knowing that you have HIV, it's more likely you're going to kill someone than if you shoot or stab them, because this is always fatal.
The measure now goes to the state Senate.
Workers laid off from the Verona McQuay plant are getting some action from Congressman Bob Goodlatte. Labor leaders demonstrated in Waynesboro last week. One of the complaints was that laid-off McQuay workers weren't getting education or job training benefits. Congressman Goodlatte helped the workers file the necessary petition with the U.S. Labor Department to ask for benefits under the Trade Assistance Act. Those benefits relate to job losses from foreign competition. The Labor Department has 60 days to rule on whether the workers qualify for federal assistance. The groundhog saw a shadow this morning, so 6 more weeks of winter on the way.
And we are oh so pleased. Robert's in the Weather Center with a look at what's ahead for the rest of this week. Robert?
Yes, indeed. It is Groundhog Day. The groundhog says we're going to get 6 more weeks of winter. We at least know for the next couple of days that it'll feel almost like winter. I'll have the forecast for you and my own version of the groundhog right after this. Fun, but there must have been some pretty good marketers around in Pennsylvania many years ago when they invented Punxsutawney Phil. Anyway, he's the most famous one. Of course, there's one down in Georgia, Beauregard, I think. There's one in Maryland. And I have my own in the bag right here. You see him? See his little fur sticking out? Isn't he cute? I've brought him back from Madison County. He belongs to the Tanners. I'm going to take him back. He's a little sedated in there, so he won't come out. Anyway, let's take a look at our current weather in Charlottesville. Full screen, please. 35 degrees, humidity at 33%. West winds at 8. Barometer at 30.16. My high temperature today in Charlottesville hit 42, 26 for the morning low. Average 43 and 25. That's pretty close. 73 and 89 was our record high, and 7 in 71 was the record low temperature. Let's go to the valley now. 33 degrees. Partly cloudy to fair skies, 32% humidity, northwest winds, and the barometer at 30.19. Weather watchers today, generally upper 30s, low 40s, not too bad. 42 at Lake Monticello, 35 in Waynesboro, 36 in Stanley, 39 in Culpeper and in Ruckersville. A few other numbers for you. Report 38 for Standardsville. Madison checking in at 44 degrees, 42 in Charlottesville, 38 out in Louisa, and Troy checking in there as well, and 25 on the mountain today at Wintergreen for the daytime daytime high, Churchville at 38. All right, across the country, we've got high pressure building in, mostly clear skies. Just to the northwest of us, though, folks, there's still yet another weather system headed for us. This one, though, is a clipper system. As it comes into us from the northwest, it'll lose a little bit of its punch when it crosses the mountains, so I don't think we're going to see anything out of this, except for the chance of a few snow flurries around here, believe it or not, tomorrow evening into Friday. I don't think it's a big deal. These are not these rarely give us anything to worry about as they come at us in this direction, so not too much going on. A little closer look shows you that mostly clear skies are out there tonight, but then here comes this system again for tomorrow. So as it passes off to the north of us, we might see a few snow flurries, mostly tomorrow evening into Friday morning, and then high pressure builds back in. And remember, I told you, we really will not see those 50s that we were thinking we were going to see. Daytime highs for the next several days are only going to struggle to get into the 40s, and for the weekend ahead, it looks like this cold dome of high pressure will build on top of us and will probably only stay in the upper 30s for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So it's a pretty chilly period for us. 24 for our low tonight, clear skies, clouds will be increasing tomorrow, and then with that system, as I was showing you, coming across, variable clouds, might be some snow flurries. You've seen this before. It's not a real big deal, but don't be surprised if a few snow flurries fall, especially for you folks in the valley now, from Stanton to Augusta Springs and out on into Bath and Highland County. Some snow flurries or snow showers even are certainly possible tomorrow with the arrival of that system coming in from the west. Here's your forecast then for the next couple of days after that. On Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, our temperatures generally are going to hold in the 30s, and our overnight lows will be in the 20s, and daytime highs will promise to be quite cool. So anyway, isn't he cute? You want to see him?
Sweet. Yeah, he was whining. You might want to feed him.
Yeah, okay. All right. It's just a thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
did it scare you?
No, I'm just like, why don't you get a
See,
real...
well, I could hold this up and say if it sees its shadow, and we could make a lot of money.
The PETA people are going to call now.
The PETA people?
You got the skin of a groundhog.
That's not real.
It's not real.
Oh, then again, it might be. I didn't even think about that.
Let's
Moving
take a
right
look
along.
at some of
Yeah,
the
we've got
school announcements we
delays and
have
stuff,
for you.
Make a brooch.
Thursday, Cumberland County schools are closed. And we do have some more. Opening 2 hours late, Buckingham County schools and Louisa County schools.
And I believe one more for you. Augusta County, actually a few more. Opening 1 hour late, Augusta County schools Greene, Madison, Orange, and Rockingham County schools are all opening 1 hour late tomorrow. Coming up next, pedaling your way to better health.
You may want results fast, but you can't just jump right in. The life-saving details when Dateline 29 News continues. Bottom of your screen. A tough workout at the gym isn't just for young athletic types like Kevin anymore.
Older Americans are getting in on the act too. Thanks, Stace. But before older adults take on exercise regimens, there are some things they need to consider. Avina Foreman tells us what they are.
Exercise became a part of the road to recovery for Charlie Holloway after he suffered a heart attack more than 10 years ago. Now at 78, his doctor tells him he's healthier than ever.
I just had a treadmill stress test about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he says you're in better condition now than I've ever seen you in the 13 years that you've been exercising. And that was, really made me feel great.
But Holloway found that he couldn't just pedal his way into a workout regimen without guidance.
I don't do anything strenuous because sometimes I have gotten myself in trouble doing strenuous exercise. I get pains in my chest, and then they take me off the exercise program because of the chest pains. So I have to be careful of how tough the equipment is that I'm doing.
There are ways to start exercise that are appropriate, and if someone just decides that, this weekend I'm going to go out and start jogging again, often an injury occurs and then someone stops exercising.
And that's where the Martha Jefferson Health and Wellness Center comes in. This facility is in partnership with the ACAC Athletic Club and offers a unique exercise program for older adults. The support and motivation participants get from the center is just what they need to stick with the program. In Albemarle County, Avina Foreman, Dateline 29 News.
And to find out more about this, just call the Martha Jefferson Health and Wellness Center at the number you see on your screen, 974-7111. Next in sports, both the UVA and JMU men's basketball teams are in second place in their respective conferences.
And both squads are in action tonight. John Havey's in next with a preview.
because the Cavs are on. We won't get much work done tonight.
Yes, they are. ACC game.
And they're all big. I mean, how many times I should just get a tape recorder and press. Every game's a big. But it's true, and hey, this one is looming larger than most. Now, Pete Gillen's Virginia Cavaliers, they may not be showing up on the national radar yet, but a win tonight would pretty much force the pollsters to take notice. The Cavs are up in College Park to face 25th ranked Maryland, and a win in Cole Fieldhouse would be huge for the Hoos. This game against the Terps is the Cavs' final contest in the first go-round of ACC play, and a victory would give the Cavs a firm grip on sole possession of second place in the conference. But in order to beat Gary Williams' Maryland squad, the Hoos will have to be at the top of their game. The Terps are getting nearly 48 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists a night from the trio of guard Juan Dixon, forward Terrence Morris, and center Lonnie Baxter. And this team style of play is a lot like the Cavaliers. Maryland doesn't have a whole lot of size, but they make up for it with pressure, defense, and a push-it-up offense. So expect a fast-paced, high-scoring game tonight. Tip-off for this one is set for just after 8 o'clock, and you can catch every last minute of the action right here on NBC 29. Plus, we'll have a full recap of this one tonight at 11. Now, speaking of hoops, Sherman Dillard's JMU men also in action this evening over at the Convocation Center. They've got a Colonial Athletic Association affair with Virginia Commonwealth. The Dukes, they've been clicking lately. They've won 5 of their last 6 times out, including a win at the buzzer over Richmond on Saturday to run their conference record to 6-2, which puts them just half a game in back of first place George Mason. But JMU's lone loss in that span, a 3-point setback at the hands of who else but VCU. So it should be quite a battle this evening, and if the Dukes get big games from Jabari Utes and Jamar Perry, they'll be celebrating their 7th conference win at the end of the night. We'll have all the highlights from this game as well tonight at 11. Now, if you want to hear a sports story with a happy ending, check this one out. NBC 29's been following the progress of former Virginia football player Mark Lindsay, who's been in the hospital for the last 8 months awaiting a heart transplant. The 23-year-old Roanoke native started having heart problems a couple years back when he was taking part in spring football practice with the Cavaliers. Now, doctors weren't sure of the cause of these problems, but they think a virus was the culprit. Lindsay's condition deteriorated to the point that he needed a heart transplant. Well, Lindsay got that transplant just 2 weeks ago, and amazingly, he's now just about ready to go home, and he can't wait to get started on living his life.
The way things are going and what they've said, they said I can pretty much, live a normal life. I wouldn't be able to play football to the degree that I was playing before, but I should be able to play tennis and basketball, backyard sports again, and that's real nice. Just to live a normal life, that's all I ask.
Great story there, Mark. Hopefully getting out of the hospital tomorrow. Now to the NFL, where Mike Martz stood aside yesterday to let Dick Vermeil end his coaching career with a blaze of glory. But today he spoke with the media about his promotion. Martz was the St. Louis Rams offensive coordinator in their Super Bowl season, and he says he'll continue to call the plays in the upcoming season, but now he'll do it from the sideline rather than the press box. Martz went on to say that he was planning on increasing the responsibilities of several of his assistants, including receivers coach Al Saunders in particular, to help fill the gaps. So the Rams won't be messing with success as they go looking for their second Super Bowl title in a row. Rams running back coach Wilbert Montgomery said it would be a crime for Martz to become a supervisor instead of a hands-on guy because he takes such an aggressive approach to the game. Finally this evening, the attorney for Charlotte Hornets guard David Wesley says his client will be charged with misdemeanor racing and reckless driving in connection with the crash that killed teammate Bobby Phills. Police say Phills and Wesley were racing at more than 100 miles an hour on January 12th when Phills lost control of his Porsche and skidded into oncoming traffic near the Charlotte Coliseum. Now, it's not yet clear when these charges will be filed, but they are each punishable by up to 60 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. One other quick note, the Jets have a new defensive coordinator, and it's an old Redskins guy. Mike Nolan, who was with the Skins till he got fired this year. Well, he landed on his feet. Going to be working for the Jets next year as their defensive coordinator.
Didn't take long.
Great. Thanks, John Havey. We'll be right back.
Dateline 29 newscast is brought to you through a grant from Wolf and Farmer, attorneys concentrating in Social Security disability cases.
Well, finally tonight, some Greene County kids and their parents really know how to have some fun in the snow.
See, over the last 2 weeks, Tommy Darnell and some friends have built a snow tubing track in front of his Standardsville home. And as Meredith Grebois and videographer Scott Gibson show us, it's quite a ride. Take a look.
What's your name?
After his big win, McCain takes aim at Bush again, this time South Carolina. The McCain you won't see in his campaign ads. Your money, interest rates going up, what it means for families with mortgages, car loans, credit cards. In depth, Flight 261. New clues about the final moments as the search for survivors is called off. And the competition to become top dog. The truth about picking America's most popular breed.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. The first full day after the New Hampshire presidential primary and the victories for John McCain and Vice President Al Gore brought a lot of speculation about what happens now that the race moves out of a tiny corner of New England and into the South, then into Super Tuesday. Senator McCain's 18-point win over George W. Bush raises the most questions tonight. We'll begin with that race. NBC's David Bloom is in South Carolina.